Good evening. My name's John Voorhees, and I'm here to give out some of the gun control proposals here in Ohio that are being written up. First up on the list, SB 19, which is red flag laws. Right now, Ohio has really no red flag laws on the books. What is a red flag law? Let's say you're married and you're going through a divorce, and the ex parte, as they're called, met somebody new and they're dating, and the other person gets jealous. Under red flag laws, that person can go to a judge, say this person is a danger to themselves or others, make a false claim, and you lose your gun rights. You have a certain amount of time before you can get your hearing and have to pay thousands of dollars in legal fees just to prove you're innocent. There's no you. They violate the Second Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, and due process rights. They're out the window. SB 43 has to do with domestic violence. Federally, if you're convicted of domestic violence, you can no longer own a gun, period. But what is domestic violence? Right now, anything as much as a shouting match could be you could be written up for domestic violence and lose your gun rights, even if it ain't violence. The law would seek to, if somebody makes another false claim about domestic violence, that person doesn't get their rights back, period. Going back to red flag laws, the dangers with that is innocent people could die. Law enforcement could die, or the person it's being ordered against could die when they're when that person's not guilty, just by a hearsay. SB 63 has to do with universal background checks. In states like New York, Massachusetts, Illinois, California, if you buy a gun from a private individual, you don't have to do a background check. Or you have to do a background check in those states. Here in states like Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, Kentucky, you buy privately, no background check. They're looking to close that, meaning if you want to buy a gun from a private individual, you have to go do the 4473 NICS background check, pay a fee just to have private property transferred to you, which is a violation of the Fourth Amendment, right to privacy, private property. By having universal background checks, you have to register your firearms and the government knows you have them, which is illegal. SB 65 has to deal with the last bill I mentioned of universal background checks, closing the so called gunshot loophole. What is the gunshot loophole? If you go to a gun dealer, you have to fill out the 4473 NICS background check, federal paperwork. At a gun show, if you buy from a dealer, you have to do the same thing, fill out the 4473. But at gun shows, there are also private individuals selling a gun. You may go up to somebody, he might have, let's say, like a Luger, and he wants 900 for it, and he's on FFL. You pay the money, the gun is yours. If you buy from a dealer, $900 for a Luger, hypothetically saying, of course, you have to fill out the 4473. What this is going to do, just like closing or part of universal background checks is if you buy from a private individual at a gun show, you will have to pay a fee and do the background check from a federal firearms dealer. SB 62 has to do with rate increasing devices, trigger cranks, bump stocks, etc. Under federal law, bump stocks and other devices like that have been banned. So I'm not going to go much into detail because of that. So what are they looking to ban? There's Geisley triggers, match triggers that can help you shoot faster. Those could be banned under new laws being proposed here in Ohio. And the last bill is SB 64. Yeah, SB 64. Right now, in states like Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, the Freedom States, when you turn 18, you can legally buy a shotgun and rifles for target shooting, self defense, etc. The new bill they're introducing under this, SB 64, SB 64 will raise the age to buy any gun from 18 to 21. States like Illinois and California have raised the age to 21 to buy a long gun from 18 to 21. And Ohio's looking to do the same. So I urge those who are watching this from the state of Ohio, call your reps, senators. I don't care if they're Democrat, Republican, or independent. Call and tell them to oppose these laws. They're unconstitutional. They're illegal. They violate people's rights. And right now, we need to start standing up to fight back. All these laws being introduced they're slowly chipping away at the Second Amendment. They've been chipping away since 1934 with the NFA, 1938 with the Federal Firearms Act, which included a list of prohibited people making people who make guns or sell them get a license. Under the NFA, you had to register machine guns, short-barreled rifles, short-barreled shotguns, any other weapons. Then in 1968, we had the Gun Control Act, which regulated imports of guns that did not meet sporting purposes. Guns like the Walther PPK cannot be imported because it was too small. Machine guns could no longer be imported. In 1986, we had good legislation called the Firearm Owners Protection Act passed. There was a lot of good in that bill, but one little piece of that bill that was bad was the Hughes Amendment, which banned um, civilians from owning full auto machine guns made after May 19th, 1986. In 1989, under Bush 1, we had the import ban. Guns, semi automatic versions of like the MP5, the HKG3, SKSs could not be imported unless they met certain requirements, like thumbhole stocks. In 1990, we had the Gun Free School Zone Act. This gun free school zone meant you could no longer have guns within 1,000 feet of a school. Back in the early 90s, the NRA had given us the NICS system known as the 4473. Because Bill Clinton wanted to put a mandatory waiting period on all handgun purchases across the United States. In 1994, you had the Crime Prevention Bill passed. And that was also known as the Assault Weapons Ban of 1994, which lasted for 10 years. Under the 1994 bill, you cannot have a threaded muzzle, you can't have a flash hider, You can have a collapsible stock, a bayonet lug, and you're only limited to 10 round limit on magazines, which was a full violation of the Second Amendment. That bill sunsetted in 2004. And now we have some of the worst gun control laws being proposed under this current administration. But I urge you, call the reps, call your senators, be respectful, be kind, tell them how you feel and that you don't want any laws passed. Let them know you will vote them out next time around. Everyone take care. Have a great night.